Craving whispers that just one more thing will complete you. A person, a title, a thrill. But each grasp leaves you emptier, bound to an invisible thread of wanting. Busy Buddha tears through that illusion. We reveal how craving distorts your mind, hijacks your body, and steals the sacred stillness that contentment brings. You'll step beyond the pleasure trap into something deeper than happiness, peace without condition. In a world addicted to more, choosing enough is the ultimate rebellion. Listen closely. The freedom you seek isn't in the next desire. It's in the quiet space underneath it. Chapter 1. The chemistry of craving. Craving doesn't start in the heart. It starts in the brain. When you want something badly, whether it's a slice of cake or a message from someone special, it's not the reward itself that drives you. It's your brain's reaction to the idea of the reward. The real fuel behind that desire is a brain chemical called dopamine. But dopamine isn't about feeling pleasure. It's about expecting it. This means what pulls you in is not the actual taste, the object, or the experience, but the rush of excitement you feel before you even get it. The brain has a reward system designed to help you survive. Long ago, it helped humans hunt for food or stay close to the tribe. Today, that same system reacts to food delivery apps, likes on a post, or the buzz of a text. When your brain senses something that might bring pleasure, dopamine is released in a part of your brain called the nucleus accumbens. This makes you feel driven, excited, and restless. You start chasing the reward, often without thinking twice. But here's the trick. Dopamine spikes before the reward, not after. Once you get what you wanted, the feeling fades fast. This is why you often feel underwhelmed after getting something you longed for. The brain was excited during the chase, not the catch. The craving gets stronger each time you give in, but the satisfaction stays small. So, you go after the next thing, then the next. This loop keeps you hooked, and it's easy to confuse it with motivation or passion. But it's really just a pattern of empty promises. The strongest cravings often come when you don't know if you'll get the reward or not. This is why checking your phone or waiting for someone's response feels so addictive. The uncertainty boosts the brain's response, making you crave even more. That's not your fault. It's how the system was built. But you can step out of it. The moment you pause and notice a craving, without reacting, you begin to break the loop. Your power lies in the space between the urge and the action. Mindfulness helps you see that just because you feel pulled doesn't mean you have to follow. When you recognize the difference between real need and brain-triggered wanting, you get your freedom back. You don't need to fight cravings. You need to understand them. Once you see how the system works, you can stop running on autopilot and start choosing with clarity. Chapter 2. The myth of if only. If only I had more time. If only I earned more. If only I were thinner, stronger, smarter, more loved. These thoughts are like ghosts, never solid, never satisfied, always whispering that happiness lives just around the next corner. You chase them because they feel so close. You believe that if you fix this one thing, everything else will finally fall into place. But the truth is harsh and freeing. The finish line always moves. That feeling of lack is not caused by what you do not have, but by believing that something else will finally complete you. The myth of if only is a trap dressed as hope. It promises that life will be better once something changes. But here is the problem. It is not the world that needs to change. It is your relationship to this moment. The idea that peace comes later keeps you from seeing the peace already available. You live as if joy is a reward for finally solving your life. In reality, joy is the ability to be present with life as it is. You might believe that ambition is what keeps you moving forward, but craving disguised as ambition is a bottomless pit. You pour time, energy, and love into a future version of yourself who never arrives. You build a castle in your mind and miss the quiet beauty of what is already here. Chasing does not mean progressing. Often, it just means running in place. The brain is wired to focus on what is missing. It is an old survival instinct. But you are not living in a jungle. You are living in a world of enough, yet your mind is trained to look for what is not yet perfect. That focus feeds the illusion that happiness is delayed. You do not have to fix everything to feel at peace. You only need to stop believing that peace is somewhere else. So how do you break this habit? You interrupt it with awareness. When you hear yourself think, "If only," pause, breathe. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding in this moment by hoping for another one? What am I not seeing right now that is already good? This shift is not about settling. It is about finally arriving. The present moment is not a problem to solve. It is a place to live. You do not find freedom by reaching for more. You find it by standing still long enough to realize you were never trapped. The only thing keeping you from contentment is the belief that it exists somewhere else. The only time it can be felt is now. Chapter 3. Pleasure as a prison. The myth of "if only" convinces you that happiness lies in the next achievement, the next moment, the next version of yourself. But once you get there, something strange happens. You don't feel fulfilled. You feel the same restlessness, just dressed in new clothes. And so you reach for comfort, something that feels good right now. A distraction, a taste, a click. Pleasure becomes the bandage for a wound that never heals, because the wound was created by chasing something that never existed in the first place. That's where the real trap begins. You are not just chasing goals, you are soothing the discomfort that chasing creates. Pleasure offers quick relief. It promises to make you feel better instantly, and it does for a moment. But the more you lean on it, the more you need it just to feel okay. That moment of escape becomes the new normal. The scroll, the snack, the drink, the hit of approval, they start to run your day. At first, it feels like freedom. Soon, it feels like need. This is not the same as craving in the brain chemistry sense. That was the setup. This is the habit that forms when you keep feeding that system. This is when you stop choosing and start reacting. When you stop enjoying and start depending. Pleasure isn't bad. It is part of life. But when you use it to avoid the emptiness created by chasing the future, it becomes your cage. And the walls are invisible because they look like fun. You say you deserve it. You earned it. But deep down, you know it's not joy. It's relief. That's different. You don't need to cut out pleasure. You just need to stop using it to run away. Take one ordinary moment and feel it fully. Wash your hands slowly. Drink water without checking your phone. Let the quiet in. At first, it will feel strange, even boring. But soon, the noise fades. And in that space, something real appears. Stillness. That's what you've been looking for all along. Pleasure that you choose is beautiful. Pleasure that chooses you is a chain. Real freedom begins when you stop needing to feel good all the time and learn how to feel real instead. Chapter 4. Contentment as a practice, not a reward. Contentment isn't something you stumble upon after everything falls into place. It's something you learn to practice right where you are, in the middle of the mess, the noise, the ordinary moments. It's not a reward you get for doing life right. It's a skill, a way of seeing, a decision you make again and again. You don't need a perfect life to feel at peace. You just need to stop waiting for something else to make you feel whole. When you're fully present with what's in front of you, even the small things become enough. Drinking your coffee slowly instead of rushing. Watching the light change through your window. Listening without planning your reply. These little moments are not distractions from life. They are life. Mindfulness helps. It quiets the part of you that says, "This isn't it." When you slow down enough to notice what you already have, something shifts. The craving softens. The grasping pauses. You begin to feel the richness of what's here, not just what's next. That doesn't mean you stop growing or wanting more. It means you stop tying your happiness to something just out of reach. Gratitude lives here too. Not the forced kind where you make lists to impress yourself, but the real kind where you notice, this moment matters, and that noticing changes you. You might think that if you get too content, you'll lose your edge, that you'll stop pushing or improving. But contentment doesn't make you lazy. It gives you a stable place to rise from. You stop chasing approval or perfection. You start moving from love instead of fear. When you're okay inside, you make better choices outside. You respond instead of react. Try simple shifts. Sit in silence for 2 minutes before your day begins. Write down one thing you overlooked that is actually a gift. Take one walk without your phone. These aren't tasks to check off, they're reminders. That joy is not a future event. That enough is already here, quietly waiting for you to see it. You don't find contentment. You practice it. Like a musician returning to a single note. Like breathing. It's not about having more. It's about seeing more clearly. And the more you practice, the more you realize you were never missing anything. Only missing the moment you're in. Chapter 5. Psychological hunger versus physical need. When you start practicing contentment, something surprising happens. The more present you become, the more clearly you begin to notice the small things that pull you away from that calm. Not the big ambitions or life goals, but subtle urges. Like reaching for a snack 5 minutes after a meal, or scrolling endlessly while telling yourself you're just taking a break. These small actions often come from a place inside that feels unsettled, not hungry. And that's when you begin to see there's a difference between what your body needs and what your mind is asking for. Real hunger doesn't shout. It rises slowly. Your stomach tightens, your energy dips, and almost any food sounds good. You eat to refuel, and when your body has enough, the signal fades. But psychological hunger feels different. It shows up fast and demands something specific: chips, sugar, comfort food. It doesn't come from your stomach. It comes from emotion. You're stressed, lonely, bored, tired, or looking for relief from something deeper. So you eat to change how you feel, not because your body actually needs anything. This is where things get tricky. The comfort you get from food is real, but it doesn't last long. The stress or sadness underneath is still there once the flavor fades. And sometimes you're left with guilt layered on top. That doesn't mean you lack willpower. It means your brain has learned that eating brings temporary relief. And in moments of discomfort, It's trying to help. But there are better ways to meet those needs. Before reaching for food, pause and ask yourself a few simple questions. When did I last eat? What am I feeling right now? If it's true hunger, go ahead and eat something nourishing. If it's not, try doing something small that shifts your energy. Walk outside, drink a glass of water, breathe slowly, write down what you're feeling. Even 2 or 3 minutes of doing something else can interrupt the loop and help you make a clearer decision. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is just let the feeling exist without needing to fix it. You might still choose to eat the snack, but now you're not doing it out of automatic habit. You're choosing it from awareness. That shift alone is enough to break the cycle. You're not trying to get rid of emotional eating. You're learning to understand it. And the more you listen to yourself with honesty and patience, the more those old patterns loosen. Hunger becomes just hunger. Emotion becomes something you can feel instead of escape. And slowly, gently, trust in your body and your choices starts to grow. Chapter 6: Social Media and Manufactured Desire. The more you slow down and listen to what you truly need, the more clearly you see how easily your peace can be shaken. One moment you're grounded, the next you're scrolling, and suddenly, what felt like enough no longer is. Scrolling through social media often feels like stepping into a world where everyone else seems to have more beauty, more success, more joy. One moment you're fine, the next you're questioning your life, your body, your worth. This is not accidental. These platforms are designed to generate desire, not just for products, but for lifestyles, appearances, and approval. What looks like harmless entertainment is actually a carefully tuned machine that stirs restlessness. You see someone living in a stunning home, or showing off perfect skin, or unboxing the newest gadget, and a part of you suddenly wants that. Not because it fits your values or your real needs, but because it's been presented as the missing piece. The dopamine hit you get when you watch, when you click, when you add to cart, creates a feedback loop. And the more often you repeat it, the more your brain starts to believe this chase is normal. But what's really happening is that your sense of enough gets distorted. The line between want and need blurs. This is what manufactured desire feels like. It sneaks into your mind disguised as inspiration, but really, it is marketing that has been emotionally packaged and socially validated. The danger isn't just in spending money, it's in letting someone else define what you should want. That's how you slowly disconnect from your own values. Your worth becomes tied to things that were never yours to begin with. Start by noticing. Pause when you feel that sudden jolt of, "I need this." Ask yourself who put that idea there. Would you have wanted it if you hadn't seen it on a screen? Would you feel less valuable without it? You can also protect your space. Curate your feed to include voices that remind you of what matters. People who promote honesty, depth, and simplicity. People who are not selling a dream but sharing truth. Follow less. Compare less. Come back to what you already know is real. You don't have to log off forever. You just need to stop handing over your desires to people who don't know you. The more you choose your own, the less power the noise has. And in that quiet, contentment becomes possible again. Chapter 7: The body knows the way. Your body always knows before your mind catches up. It senses the truth underneath the thoughts. Long before you say, "I feel anxious," your chest has already tightened. Long before you realize you're overwhelmed, your shoulders are up near your ears and your breath is shallow. The body never lies. It's the first place where imbalance shows and the last place we usually look. When you chase cravings, avoid emotions, or disconnect from the present, your body feels it. That restless tapping, the tension in your jaw, the ache in your gut, those are signals, not random discomforts. They're messages trying to guide you back to yourself. But instead of listening, most people numb them. You scroll, snack, argue, or stay busy so you don't have to feel. But the truth is, your body is not your enemy. It is your compass. Think of how craving feels in your body. It doesn't feel soft or peaceful. It's tight, urgent, and sharp. You feel a pressure to act. You feel pulled. That's not alignment. That's survival mode. Now think of how contentment feels. It's warm. It's relaxed. It has no urgency. Your breath slows down. Your muscles let go, and your awareness expands. That's your body telling you, this is right. When you begin tuning into your body, you stop living in your head. You stop believing every story your mind creates. You notice, oh, I feel tension in my stomach. Maybe I'm trying to control something. Or, my throat feels tight. Maybe I'm not speaking my truth. These observations become openings. You don't have to fix anything right away. Just noticing creates space. One of the simplest ways to reconnect is through breath. Your breath is always in the now. It can't live in the past or future. When you bring your attention to it, you come home to your body. Try it now. Breathe in slowly. Notice where the breath lands. Let it go. Do it again, softer. Feel how your body responds when you pay attention without judgment. Movement helps too. Not to change your body, but to feel it. A walk, a stretch, even swaying to music can unlock what's stuck. Your body speaks in sensations, not words. So listen gently. Listen with patience. It doesn't shout, it whispers. You do not have to understand every emotion or fix every thought. You just have to trust that your body is showing you what is real. It carries your past, your present, your knowing. Let it guide you. The answers you're chasing in your mind might already be waiting in your spine, your chest, your breath. Slow down. Listen. The body knows the way. Chapter 8. From wanting to witnessing. There is a moment when you realize you are not the voice in your head. You are not the craving. You are not the one saying, I need this, or I cannot be happy until. You are the one hearing it. And once you see that clearly, something powerful begins to shift. You stop being pulled by every desire and start watching it instead. You move from wanting to witnessing. This shift doesn't come through force, it comes through stillness, through presence. At first, it feels like nothing is happening. You sit with an urge and just observe. Your mind protests. It tells you it is pointless, that you are missing out, that you will feel better if you just give in. But you stay with the feeling, not acting on it, not feeding it, just watching. You begin to notice how the craving rises like a wave. It peaks. It tries to convince you it is urgent. Then it softens, and eventually it passes. This is the truth cravings never tell you. They are temporary. But when you always act on them, you never get to see that. You reinforce the idea that they control you, that they are stronger than you. Witnessing breaks that illusion. It shows you that you are not inside the craving. You are outside of it. You are the space it moves through. Most people think freedom is getting what they want. But real freedom is seeing the want without needing to chase it. That freedom gives you choice. It gives you room to ask, do I really need this? Is this even mine? And sometimes you will still go for it. But now you are choosing. You are not being dragged. Meditation helps train this ability. Not to quiet the mind forever, but to help you notice what is happening without becoming it. You sit, thoughts come, desires appear, feelings swirl. You learn to let them move without grabbing onto them. You return to your breath, to your body, to the quiet watcher behind it all. Even outside of meditation, this witnessing is always available. When you feel the urge to check your phone, pause, feel it. Where is it in your body? What does it want? What would happen if you just let it be there for a minute? No judgment, just curiosity. That minute becomes power. You begin to see that most of what you chase is not about the thing itself. It is about trying to feel okay, safe, loved, enough. But you were already those things before the wanting started. You just forgot. Witnessing helps you remember. It helps you return to the still place inside that has always been whole. You do not need to silence your desires. You only need to see them clearly. The more you watch without clinging, the more you come home to yourself. From this space, life slows down. You stop reacting. You start responding. Not with fear or craving, but with clarity. That is where peace lives. Not in getting what you want, but in seeing that you are more than what you want. You are the witness, and that changes everything. Freedom is not found in the next achievement or indulgence. It lives in the space between craving and choice. You've seen how the mind manufactures desire, how the body signals truth, and how presence reveals what wanting tries to hide. The key is not to silence your desires, but to see them for what they are, passing clouds, not commands. Each moment becomes a doorway. React or witness, grasp or let go. Begin there. Breathe before you reach. Pause before you chase. Let enough be enough, not someday, but now. This is the quiet power of contentment, not a reward you earn, but a strength you practice. If this audiobook resonated with you, explore more of our content or let our playlist continue. Thank you for listening, and may your path be filled with wisdom and peace.